Today's show is sponsored by the Pittsburgh Opera, presenting the world premiere of Woman with Eyes Closed. Here's what you need to know. There's this gal named Mona. She realizes her son is an art thief who has stashed stolen paintings in her house. So she's got a decision to make. Does she give them back to the museum? Does she keep them? Does she turn her son in? Or does she destroy the evidence? This is all based on a real-life art heist, and Woman with Eyes Closed will keep you guessing until the very end. There are 5 performances, April 26th through May 4th. Learn more at pittsburghopera.org/woman. Hey y'all, it's Megan Harris, and I want to invite you to become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor. You may have heard us talk about our membership program before. We've given it a new name, Neighbors, because being a good neighbor is at the heart of what Pittsburgh is all about and what CityCast is all about. Neighbors drop by for a barbecue. Neighbors remind you that tomorrow is recycling day, get your can out. Neighbors lean over the fence and catch you up on the hot goss from the mayor's office. And by the way, have you tried the new fancy ramen spot, or got the breakfast sandwich, or maybe the seasonal latte at the spot down the way? Better neighbors help make better cities. And that's what CityCast Pittsburgh is here to do. When you support CityCast Pittsburgh, you let us bring you this podcast every day. And you help make this amazing, complex city a better place to live. For just $10 a month, you'll get the satisfaction of supporting our work and benefits that will help the city come alive for you. As a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor, you'll get insider access to member-only events and volunteer meetups, ad-free podcast listening, and a weekly emailed roundup of the best things to do here in Pittsburgh. Plus the chance to shout out your favorite local nonprofit or business here on the show. And when you become a neighbor this week, we'll send you an exclusive CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor welcome mug as a thank you gift. So let's redefine what it means to be a good neighbor here in Pittsburgh, and let's do it together. Head to membership.citycast to become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor today. That's membership.citycast.fm. Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, y'all know Pennsylvania has an election coming up, and the deadline to register to vote is this coming Monday. And if you are new here or new to voting, you need to know there is a catch. You cannot vote in all the primary races if you are a registered independent. It does not have to be this way. Lots of other states have different rules. But if you are a Pittsburgher and you want to say have a voice in our upcoming mayoral race, you need to act fast. I'm with a reporter from Spotlight PA with everything you need to know. It's Wednesday, April 30th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. Hey y'all, we are almost done with our spring membership campaign, which means I promise we are almost done asking you to become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor. But hear me out. There is so much uncertainty in the world right now. And here on this podcast, we're trying to make sense of how all these big issues play out here in Pittsburgh. Plus, bring you some joy, some lightness, and tell you how to experience the best that our city has to offer. One of our newest neighbors, Isha P., said, quote, "I am new to the city, and CityCast Pittsburgh has absolutely been invaluable to me during this adjustment period. CityCast has been a huge reason this city is starting to feel like home for a newcomer like me." Isha, thank you so much. You know, whether you're a newbie or you've been in the city for decades, we really want to be an essential resource for you, but we need your help to make that happen for years to come. Membership is a key part of making sure that we can stick around for the long haul. And when you become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor, you're going to get an adorable members-only mug, invitations to members-only events, a weekly events email, and if you sign up now, you're also going to get entered into a giveaway and get the chance to win a pair of tickets to the Heinz History Center. To be a part of our community, go to membership.citycast.fm today. That's membership.citycast.fm. Kate Huangpu is a government reporter at Spotlight PA. Kate, you really are doing the work to let people know what they need to know this coming Monday.
That's very kind of you. I mean, Spotlight's government team, we try to cover our bases.
And we're very grateful for you. For listeners, we text y'all almost as much as we have you on the show. We appreciate your expertise. Let's talk about the primary. It's coming up. It's May 20th. And Pennsylvania has what's called this closed primary system. Kate, what does that mean for folks?
Yeah, essentially it just means that if you're not registered to either the Democratic or Republican Party, you can't pick which primary candidates they have on the slate. So you don't have a say in who might end up in the election in the fall. You can still vote on, like statewide referenda, local ballot initiatives, things like that. But for those candidates, you're not allowed to participate.
So then on the flip side, an open primary would mean what?
That third parties, independents, they can choose one of those two ballots to participate in. It's there's a spectrum to it. So some states only allow independents, some states allow both, but most other states at least allow independents to participate.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten to vote in an open primary system?
No, I'm from Pennsylvania. I've only ever voted in Pennsylvania.
I've lived in a couple of states that had it, and it is interesting to walk in and they'll just be like, which ballot do you want? They see that you're registered and they'll ask you and you can pick which one. You report for Spotlight PA that this is becoming a big issue here in Pennsylvania because there's so many new people here, or at least new people registering as independents. How many folks are we talking about statewide?
Yeah, in the past decade, I believe it's over 300,000, and it's one of the fastest growing political affiliation groups. So it's growing faster than both Democrats and Republicans. And in particular, the advocates for open primaries are saying, you're targeting a lot of veterans. A lot of veterans are independent voters, and they're folks that just don't want to sort of participate in this increasingly polarized political climate and partisan groups. So, it's definitely
I
been
see
growing.
Your puppy in the background. I assume they co-sign that.
He wants to participate. He is only 1 year old, but he wants to vote.
What about here in Allegheny County, the Pittsburgh region? How many are independents growing here too?
Yeah. I think it's about 100,000, over 100,000 just unaffiliated, just independents, and then another 30,000 third parties. But yeah, like I said, I think it's the fastest growing political affiliation in the state. So more and more folks are registering or switching their registration to independents.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your story. You've got some State Department data here. It looks like it's up almost 28% in that 10-year period. Meanwhile, Democratic registration has gone down about 1.5%, and Republican registration is up a little over 14%. So like you said, independents going way, way up. Do we know why? I understand not wanting to be involved with quote unquote, the parties of the past or some stuff. But is it a political statement? Or because I wonder when folks register as independents here, do you know that this effectively disenfranchises you for at least a portion of our electoral system?
Yeah, the folks I've talked to, albeit they probably have a slightly more firm interest because they're advocating for independents to join, but they know or they find out very quickly, they go to vote and then they're like, oh, I can't. I know my mom, I believe both my parents are registered independents, and she every May, when I'm reporting on stuff, she's like, well, this does not matter to me. I'm not going to the ballots.
And I get that. It's extra paperwork to change your registration just to be able to vote in a primary. And I do love the spirit of an independent voter. It makes sense. But it just means that you can't come to the party half of the time.
Yeah, I think county election directors would say that you can change your registration online, I think up to 2 weeks before the election, and then just change it right back after. I've messed around with the DOS registration system before. It isn't that hard, but it is an extra hurdle, right? It is something you have to verify it has changed, make sure you're doing it in the right time frame, all that.
This episode is supported by Liberty Magic and its upcoming show, Malin Nilsson in Magic Unplugged. Magic is part of Malin's blood. She is a third-generation magician who's showcasing her skills as part of a laugh-out-loud and very theatrical performance. You'll experience handmade magic tricks, surrealism, and comedy, topped with raw onions and a pinch of confetti. If you want to see how raw onions fit into magic, well, you're just going to have to come catch the show for yourself. Malin Nilsson in Magic Unplugged is running now through May 4th at Liberty Magic, Pittsburgh's premier speakeasy that is all about the sleight of hand and elevating the art of magic. And if you're really adventurous, you should snag Skeleton VIP tickets. It gets you front row access and an exclusive meet and greet after the show. Get your tickets at trustarts.org/magic before they disappear. Today's show is supported by the Union Project and one of the city's coolest events all year long, the 2025 Mother of All Pottery Sales. It's all going down Saturday, May 10th from 10 to 4 in Highland Park, and you're going to see so many different kinds of pieces and styles. The artistry is just incredible. I've been looking at the vendors, and I have got my eye on these plates that incorporate stamped lace, which sounds like it might be dainty, except they also have bats and skulls on them. There are planters shaped like animals, mugs with all kinds of different fun, funky shapes, and some of them this beautiful bright glazing. There are jewelry and trinkets, sleek, earthy vases, and I am really digging these big, bright cereal bowls that sort of remind me of the smokier parts of the Appalachian Mountains. There really is something for everyone. More than 40 different ceramic artists will be there doing demonstrations, and you can even play with some clay yourself and sculpt a piece for the Union Project's temporary gallery. The Mother of All Pottery Sales is free to enter, but if you want extra shopping time and a smaller crowd, get yourself an early bird slot for just $20. That'll buy you an extra hour before the masses arrive at 11. Early bird shopping is truly one of my favorite forms of self-care. I cannot recommend it enough. Get your ticket and check out the full list of artists at unionproject.org. Today's show is brought to you by Aura Home. This Mother's Day, they say you can officially win the title of Best Gift Giver Ever, while also sharing what's going on in your world in a way that'll stick with your loved ones for years to come. And the secret is their Aura frame, named the best digital photo frame by Wirecutter. No exaggeration, all the mothers in my life have one of these things, and it's shockingly captivating. Like, I'll walk into the family room for something, catch a glimpse of a perfect day out with my family, a cute picture of my little cousins, and one of my all-time favorites is this old video of the family dog pogoing behind the door for treats, waiting for us to come inside. Every time this happens, I laugh because I did not mean to spend 15 minutes staring at this thing, but I did, and everyone in all of our households does this all the time. Aura has a great deal for Mother's Day. For a limited time, our listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off plus free shipping on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's Aura, A-U-R-A, frames.com. Promo code CityCast. Please support the show by mentioning us at checkout and get yourself a discount. Terms and conditions apply. Hey, y'all. You know, one of my favorite parts of our membership campaigns has been getting messages from people who are joining and telling us how much they value the podcast and the newsletter, just what you're getting out of it. I'm not exaggerating when I say our entire team reads every single one of these, and we really love hearing your stories and your why, like why you're signing up. Amy B says she likes hearing about city news and really wanted the mug. Amy, we totally get it. Merch gets us motivated as well. And then Mary A, you know, she said she's been with us since the very beginning, listening all this time. So it's high time I support you. Mary, thank you so much for being with us all this time. We've heard from so many of you that we're like a part of your morning routine. So if you are a regular listener, we really hope that you do take that next step and become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor. Amy and Mary, we are so glad that you value this work and we appreciate your support. You can join just like both of them and become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor today. It is just $10 a month, and you can sign up at membership.citycast.fm. Again, we just got a few more days of this membership drive, and it really is so important to keep us going and keep us doing this work. We want to make sense of this city, and we want to celebrate all of the highs and talk about all of the lows. Please join us in that journey. It's membership.citycast.fm. I know we've had some legislative efforts to open up the primary system. Can you walk us through what at least is currently on the table? Because I feel like there's some iteration that pops up every couple of years.
Yeah, to my knowledge, all the iterations currently would only allow independent, so unaffiliated voters. Mm-hmm. So Green parties would not be included. Libertarians wouldn't be included. It's just for folks who aren't affiliated, aren't registered with any party. But essentially, they would be allowed to go to the polling place, select a ballot. They'd have to sign saying, this is the ballot I selected. And there is one bill in the House, one bill in the Senate. There's usually at least one bill in the House, one bill in the Senate. Last session, there was a bill that passed that in the House that would have opened primaries for non-affiliated voters, independent voters. Mm-hmm. So that is some progress on the move, but it's been sort of
You're
slow.
Saying that with a lot of reticence.
Yeah, I think there's always like a perennial push to have this happen, and yet it never really seems to happen. A lot of that is like from the advocates I've talked to and lawmakers I talked to, legislative leaders don't want to shake the boat, right? Like, this is the system that got them elected into power, so why would they try to change that system?
Oh, well, that just seems sad. Like, I want you all to be like always trying to make things better, more available for folks. Is there any benefit, like, of the advocates you've talked to a closed primary system? Like, what's the argument for it, other than, what Pennsylvania always says, this is how we've always done it?
Yeah, I think I talked to one senator who chairs the state government committee, and he basically said, like, well, we don't want people, I think that he said, we don't want people on the Baltimore Ravens drafting the Eagles, or something to that effect, where you would...
Okay, that feels very Pennsylvania.
Yeah, like, you wouldn't want to dilute the partisan ideology, I guess, of the primary for a party,
But like, there are registered Republicans in the city of Pittsburgh. Personally, I don't think the small number of them voting in a Democratic primary would make a huge difference most of the time. Now, of course, a close election is a close election, but, don't you want more people voting, like, full stop?
Yeah, and that's what a lot of the advocates say. Like, 1.4 million people are shut out, and that's a significant amount of our, like, 8 million total registered voters.
Yeah, and if a Democrat wants to defect to the Republican Party and vote over there, like, shouldn't you want to let them?
Yeah, technically, that's as long as you're casting one ballot, like, that is allowed. You can do with that one ballot what you choose. Certainly, it's maybe counterintuitive for someone to be like, oh, I'm a Democrat, but I'm going to vote for a Republican.
But if that's where the competitive race is, I can totally see folks wanting to get involved and, like, do their civic duty. Yep. Again, I've seen this work in other places, and it's not weird, because you just walk in and everybody gets asked the same question, right? Which ballot do you want?
Yeah, I think that a lot of the advocates for this say, like, there are only 10 states that have completely closed primaries like this. So we are definitely in the minority. Dozens of other states do this, and, it hasn't completely broken their system. I think the real hurdle is that Pennsylvania is really reticent to any sort of election change right now, even things that are bipartisan, have popular support. Like, this is a measure that has popular support. I think over 75 people, or around 75% of people support this measure, according to a recent poll. So a lot of it is just like, is there the political will in the legislature? And for election reform stuff, it's so hot button that it's hard to get done.
Yeah, well, I guess not a strong chance then that anything happens this legislative cycle?
I wouldn't bet on it.
Yeah. Well, I guess stepping back here just a little bit, Kate, how would you describe to somebody, like, what's at stake with this? Because we do talk about it from time to time, but, Like if somebody's listening to this and they're just like, they're not sure it's worth the couple extra minutes to check the registration, first of all, but also like to change it if they decide they do want to vote, but in their heart, they feel they align more with being an independent.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially for this election coming up, it's pretty much local races that are going to be what you're voting on. And for a lot of local races, the primary is what decides it because these districts, they're so small. So they typically have a significant partisan lead one way or the other. People tend to live in areas where they feel like they align with their political values or their ideologies. So when a district is as small as even like a state house district, like 27 or like 64,000 people, that tends to be politically cohesive. So there aren't that many competitive races, if that makes sense, in the general. In the primary is when you're going to have like the most selection.
Well, again, if you are listening to this, we've got ballot referendums, we've got judicial seats, council and borough seats. Of course, if you live in Pittsburgh, there is the mayor race that will probably be decided during the primary. And that deadline to register to vote here in Pennsylvania is this coming Monday. So if you're listening and you're an independent and you want to vote for mayor, this is the time. You have to change it between now and Monday. We will have links to our state and local websites that you'll need to check your status and maybe change your registration. Kate, thank you so much for your reporting and for letting the folks know.
Yeah, thank you for having me and putting up with my dog.
Hi, baby. That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. If you're loving what Kate had to say, you can unpack even more of this independent voter stuff with her and Spotlight PA and some very special guests. They've got an event next week. It's free, but you do need to register. That's Tuesday, May 6th at 6 p.m. Thank you to all our new CityCast Pittsburgh neighbors, Ryan S., Mary A., Beth T., Kelly S., Sean M., and Marisha D.W. If you have not joined, you do still have time. And remember, you get that brand new CityCast Pittsburgh neighbors mug. You know that you're sipping out of the exact same mug as some of us. And you're going to be entered to win that free pair of tickets to the Heinz History Center and its brand new exhibit, Pittsburgh's Hidden History. Become a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. Again, that's membership.citycast.fm. We will be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. We'll talk to you soon. What's the puppy's name?
Perry.
What's that name for anything?
Well, so it's Pericles. Like, I just like old, names that are too fancy for a dog to have.
I have friends that swing both ways in that way, that they'll go exceptionally fancy or strangely simple, like a dog named Pete,
Sure. Yes, for sure. And then, he's become like Perry the Platypus or like Pear Bear, Perito. We got a plethora of nicknames for him.